This is a breaking news alert.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Sager in with a breaking news alert out of Kentucky. A shooting situation in Allen, Kentucky that involves multiple victims from different agencies. According to the Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt, he tells us deputies were attempting to serve a court warrant when the person they began serving that warrant to began firing upon the first responders there. Deputies say there are multiple victims, including deputies, also possibly up to 2 other agencies, people from these different agencies also taking some of that fire. We know there is a heavy police presence at this time in the area. We have team coverage tonight in Floyd County, where we first want to head to Andrew Colgrove. You see Kelsey Soto, Shannon Litton. Andrew Colgrove is who we're going to first, who is on the scene right now working to learn more. Andrew, what's the latest?
Well, Sarah, just a massive police presence here at the intersection of Route 1428 and US 23 in Floyd County. This is the Allen community here. Kentucky State Police saying they will be releasing more information shortly, but at this point they have not officially confirmed whether this situation has been resolved. I'll step out of the way. You can see the massive police presence here. We're told as many as 200 different law enforcement officers have responded to this scene. Sarah, for now, back to you.
Just a huge police presence right now in Allen, Kentucky, off US 23 there, as well as over on 1428. So let's head over now to News Channel 3's Kelsey Soto. She is also at the scene. I know, Kelsey, earlier tonight you were at Highlands ARH Regional Medical Center. I know you've seen several officers as you were heading down 23, heading to this area, zooming the opposite direction. So there's been a lot of touch and go with the situation tonight, Kelsey.
Well, and certainly impacting drivers as well. This is something that if anyone is traveling through this area really needs to be cognizant of and careful of. And we talked about just how limited the information has been at this point. Everyone's trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But you want to talk about the confusion. Like I said, seeing officers flying up and down 23 going both directions. We did hear from Sheriff Hunt that different agencies and those victims were taken to different medical centers throughout the region. And that's why we're not sure exactly where they've been taken and to the extent of those injuries. I can tell you I was at Highlands Regional ARH Medical Center there a little bit ago in Prestonsburg, and there wasn't a huge visible presence there, but we did see sheriff's deputies' vehicles in the parking lot from as far away as Knott County. Through the back of the facility there is where the emergency room is, and there were several first responders gathered outside of the entrance. So again, we're working to learn more information. We will be out here until we learn more, and we'll send it back to you now.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Yes, when I spoke to Sheriff Hunt earlier tonight about 9:30, he said he was hoping for a peaceful end to this situation. Again, that suspect barricaded at some sort of facility, at a home, some sort of location there, not too far where our reporters are on the scene. So let's head over now to Shannon Litton. He was the first person at the scene. Shannon, I know things have been quickly developing here in the Allen community, and we are hearing that there may be some sort of briefing happening here shortly.
Yeah, just here in a few minutes, Kentucky State Police will give us that first briefing on exactly what they know so far of what happened here. I mean, you can see behind me the presence of all these blue lights. They've been coming and going. We're going to go ahead and set our cameras up for that press conference, and hopefully we can learn just a little more.
We are going to take that briefing right now.
Shooter. Since then, the shooter has been taken into custody, so there's no threat to the public safety.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight at 11 o'clock. We'll be back in the morning.
It is coming up on 6 o'clock this Friday morning. I'm Rob Johnson along with Melanie Schaefer. We begin News Channel 3 today with a breaking news alert.
Multiple law enforcement officers have been shot after Floyd County deputies say a man barricaded himself in a home. Now, this all happened in a home in Allen, Kentucky, right near the junction of Route 23 and Route 1428. Police have telling us last night during the 11 o'clock news that the suspect in this is in custody. And we have team coverage for you this morning.
Shannon Litton and Kelsey Soto, both in Allen, Kentucky this morning. Now 12 hours after authorities were first called out to that scene.
We'll go live to Shannon Litton first, who's in the Floyd County, right at the scene of the shooting. Shannon.
Well, like you guys were just mentioning, that suspect is in custody, and that's about the only good news coming out of Eastern Kentucky. KSP troopers still investigating. They've been here all night, and there's actually some police tape up there, too, in the area where 1428 meets Main Street. And I can tell you throughout the last hour or so that we've been here, we have been seeing some troopers walk through that area, walk through that part of that neighborhood.
News Channel 3's Kelsey Soto also live in Allen with what she's learned this morning.
Good morning to both of you. Again, this is a very fluid situation. I think a lot of people, may be frustrated saying, well, why don't we know this? Why don't we know that? I do know that Kentucky State Police explained last night that they want to make sure this information is correct and accurate. And because things are changing so rapidly, they have to make sure that everything is up to date.
It's now been 12 hours after authorities were first called to the scene.
Let's go first to News Channel 3's Shannon Litton. He is right beside where the shooting happened.
Yeah, and we're just learning even more new information as we speak. I want to bring your attention over here to this Allen Volunteer Fire Department truck. This is from last night. That is, you can clearly see a bullet went right through the windshield of this truck, which was being used to block off traffic when all of this unfolded yesterday before 6:30 in the evening. But not just that, I want to show you even back here. It's a little hard to see, but Sarah, if you can try to show it, it actually shattered the back end of the cab there.
News Channel 3's Shannon Litton, he's just gotten out of the courtroom and gotten us new information. He's live there now.
Rob, good morning to you. It's been quite an emotional morning here, too. We were in the arraignment around, it happened closer to 10 this morning, and that is where a plea of not guilty was actually put in place for Lance Storrs, because he is being charged with the murder of 2 police officers. A judge saying at the time, basically, because of the charges, he has to plead not guilty. A $10 million cash-only bond being set for him. Let's go ahead and dip into that press conference, which happened just about 30 minutes ago. What does justice mean to you in this case?
Well, I told this gentleman earlier that there's a special place in hell for people like this. And if there ain't, there ought to be.
We want to show you the scene here live as the bodies are being brought back from Frankfort, making their way back home.
Fallen heroes returning home. This is the procession happening live right now in Floyd County, Kentucky. This is the bodies of Captain Ralph Frazier as well as Deputy William Petrie.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to First at 5. We are still following that breaking news alert in the Allen community of Floyd County, Kentucky, where we have now learned that a Floyd County deputy, a Prestonsburg police captain, and a canine police officer have died. 5 others have been injured. We do have team coverage for you tonight. We have it covered from all angles. We've had a chance to talk with those who knew these men that were killed here, and let's go ahead and take a look actually at a couple of pictures of them. We've learned that the 2 men that died protecting their community here last night is William Petrie, who was a deputy with the Floyd County Sheriff's Office, and also Prestonsburg City Police Captain Ralph Frazier. I want to send things over to News Channel 3's Andrew Colgrove, who is here with us in Allen. Andrew, and I'm just taking a look behind me. It looks as though we are getting set up here, and I believe you might be on your way over there for this briefing to happen here momentarily to give us a better idea of what took place here last night.
Right, Taylor. We are expecting that Kentucky State Police will be providing us with an update soon, and as soon as they do that, we will be carrying that live. For now, they still do have Railroad Street, a section of it blocked off where this shooting happened last night. At this point, authorities have not exactly identified where the shooting took place. The Floyd County Sheriff saying that several shots coming off, and when the shooting was happened, it wasn't clear exactly where the shots were coming from. So right now, we're getting the camera set up. In fact, let's go ahead and take a listen in.
Do you know how much longer, are you thinking that you'll remain on scene here throughout the night, maybe even into the weekend?
We'll definitely be here for the remainder of the evening.
All right, everyone. I'm going to try to work my way through here. We've got a lot of media who are here, so I'm just going to. Sorry, Bob. All right, everyone. It's kind of a maze here, so I apologize. We're going to stay right here for a second, though, and try to give you a little update, a little briefing from what we learned from Trooper Gayhart with KSP. So two different officers have died from their injuries. All right, back to our coverage of this breaking news alert that we have been following for you. 2 different law enforcement officers killed here in a barrage of gunfire last night as the Floyd County Sheriff's Department was working to serve some court papers to a suspect here in the Allen community. Ended up needing some major backup, and we know that there were several other officers that were injured. A canine that was also killed in all of this. I want to send things now to our reporter, News Channel 3's Andrew Colgrove, who is also here with us with more details on what happened. Andrew?
Well, Taylor, right now you can see behind me here on Route 1428 a couple Prestonsburg police cars that were involved in last night's shootout are just now being towed away from the scene. Trooper Matt Gayhart with Kentucky State Police just provided an update to media a little after 5 o'clock this evening.
And I want to send things over to our reporter, Marley Pinchuk, who was along that route. Marley, you witnessed all of this. I have to imagine it was probably pretty emotional to see as those men were being brought back into town and see these community members who are grieving but yet said, I need to go. I need to be able to say thank you to these men for what they've done.
Taylor, we saw 2 men down below at the bottom of the hill looking out onto US 23, saluting all of the law enforcement officers as they escorted those 2 fallen law enforcement officers back home from Frankfort.
I know Emily Bennett had a chance to talk with a school that is grieving. Talking about Prestonsburg High School, Emily, I know you had a chance to talk with the principal there, and you talk about Ralph Frazier and a man who had an impact in that uniform for the community he serves, but boy, those kids at this school loved him because he was a resource officer.
Yes, Taylor, that's right. These both men, William Petrie and Captain Ralph Frazier, actually were school resource officers. William Petrie used to be with Floyd Central.
Here, I want to send things back now into our studio. News Channel 3's Kimberly Keggy has obtained a copy of the protective order that they were working to serve. And Kimberly, I know these are some very graphic details.
Taylor, some of those details so graphic that we can't even share them with you. But here's what we can tell you. The order states on Tuesday, Storrs trapped a family member in a bedroom, then physically abused them. Now, according to that order, that happened after Storrs heard the family member wanted to get a new apartment. The order goes on to say, during the incident, Storrs pulled out a gun, then demanded the victim beg for their life, a child's life, and the life of a co-worker. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Sager, and we continue our breaking news coverage tonight following last night's deadly mass shooting in Floyd County, Kentucky, where 2 officers are dead, 4 injured, and a canine officer also dead. Another civilian is injured as well. And check this out. This is the first look at the home where this mass shooting took place last night. This picture was just sent back to our newsroom from our reporter Emily Bennett, who is out in the field. This is a first look at this home. We are live again tonight with team coverage in Allen, Kentucky. Let's first head over to Andrew Colgrove, who's been listening to updates throughout the state police all day long. Andrew, any new details tonight?
Well, Sarah, we can tell you that Kentucky State Police did just clear the scene a little earlier tonight. So for the very first time, we have gotten to come up close to the home where this all unfolded last night. I'm standing right in front of the house where the suspect lived, Lance Storrs. And for the very first time since this chaos unfolded last night, we've gotten a chance to talk to neighbors who were right in the middle of all this. Talked to another neighbor, a man named Larry Short, who lives close to here. He says he was not actually home while this was going on. He was on his way home when he started getting messages as well about the chaos that was unfolding, about police here being shot at. And he says in the middle of all this, his neighbor, Lance Storrs, gave him a phone call. Take a listen.
I said, Lance, I said, what's going on? I hear you're shooting cops and you're killing people. Now, why are you doing that? And he wouldn't tell me why. He did make a comment, well, you wouldn't understand. Well, no, I don't understand. That's for sure. And I told him now, Lance, just quit shooting and let everything get under control. Give yourself up. I don't want to see you die.
News Channel 3's Emily Bennett is joining us now. And Emily, you got to speak to someone who personally knew Frazier.
That's right, Sarah. I actually went over to Prestonsburg High School earlier today, where I talked to Principal Ricky Thacker. Frazier was a school resource officer over there, and Principal Thacker just talked to me about how he just loved the kids so much.
We will have much more after this break.